Hey everyone, welcome back to Dutchman's. It's an early morning, the sun just rose, and I'm already out in the garden ready to prune my raspberry. And whether you want to prune your raspberry now or when it's fully dormant in winter is dependent on a couple of factors. One of the biggest ones being, so there's two factors. One of them being, is it established? If it's not established and you only have a couple of canes, then that cane is going to need to be producing energy for the raspberry roots in order for it to get stronger. This has actually been researched in a paper, and it was found that the Floricanes, which are the second year's raspberry canes, were still producing energy for the raspberry roots up until the point that they died, which is usually somewhere in winter time. The second reason, of course, would then naturally also be that you wouldn't want to prune your Floricanes when your raspberry is weak or might need the energy, the photosynthesis from that raspberry cane. So there's a couple considerations to be made there. So to go over really quick what a primal cane and a Floricane is, your primal cane is a first year's growth that will come up in spring to early summer usually, which will go on to produce a crop in autumn time, or late summer, early autumn, which can last way into autumn as well, which will then go dormant, which will then produce another crop in late spring, early summer. Your Floricanes are the second year's canes, which will then die off in winter after producing their final harvest. It might stop producing somewhere in mid to late summer. Currently my primal canes are producing their raspberries still, and in fact I'm actually getting some more flowers on some of the smaller ones. They're just now putting off flowers, so maybe I'll even get a late autumn harvest, which would be kind of cool. So I'm going to show you what the Floricanes look like as compared to the primal canes, and I'm going to take some out. In my case, my raspberry is very healthy, it's established, it has plenty of strength in it, so I'm not worried about taking out or losing a little bit of that photosynthesis to just free up the raspberry and maybe even allow the other primal canes to just get more energy. So that's what I'm going to do. So let's go show you that now. So here you can see the couple of Floricanes that I've got left, which are these two. Generally the Floricanes are much woodier. They're an extra year old, so they're generally much woodier as compared to your primal canes. This right here is a primal cane, much smoother, not as gnarly as the Floricanes are. So generally that woodiness is what you want to look for, but once you really get a feel for it, you'll kind of recognize them as well. So this right here, leaves are kind of getting in the way. This right here is a primal cane. These are the only two Floricanes that are left, which I'll be pruning out right now. When you go to prune these, you just want to get down as far as you can get it. So here we go. It's one. And the other one. Boom. That's that. So all that's left in here now are just my primal canes. I've got one there. There's one there. There's one here. Got several big ones in the middle there. And 1, 2, 3. I'll probably be taking out some more of these. You'd want to do that when they're actually dormant, somewhere in winter. Probably December or January, somewhere in that range. So with these Floricanes, you don't want to discard them. You can actually use these for slug deterrents. This is nice and thorny and spiky. Slugs aren't going to want to traverse over this, so that's usually what I do with them. I just use them as as around things that I don't want these slugs to get to, like strawberries or something like that. You can see also that excuse me, there's quite a bit of leaves on here still. This is why all of this would have still continued to produce photosynthesis for the raspberry. So if it's weaker or you don't have as many canes, then you definitely want to leave this on, as it does continue to produce energy for the raspberry. So that's pretty much it. I hope you learned something today. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. And we will see you in the next one. Tot de volgende keer.